And hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Veet, how's it going?
Hey, Alex, good morning.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Friday today. I hope you all had a great week. Today, we're going to bring you another nugget of wisdom. Last week, we talked a little bit about this concept of the difference between wealth and money and production. And if you haven't seen it, it's really worth checking out. And today, we just want to take a moment to kind of elaborate on the concept to help you understand the importance of production, of creating real wealth, what it really takes. So maybe, Veet, you can kind of explain it to us a little bit.
Exactly. So it's one of the topics I love to talk about, Alex, because actually we all look for a life full and abundant. Whether we live in France, whether we live in the US, whether we live in Japan or in Singapore, it doesn't matter. We're all looking for it. And a lot of people throughout their lives become afraid of money because for them it's a synonym to working really hard, hurting the environment, hurting the planet, destroying personal relationships, and so on. And wealth is also something people associate with working countless hours. Mm-hmm. And so last week I gave the example of a village. So we talked about people don't always have to take money from someone else in order to get something. And we gave the example of a village that was alone on earth. It was a village in Italy. We talked about, imagined a village in Italy that was the only village on the whole planet. There were no other people, no other villages. And those people started working and built a very nice village. So they created wealth, and money and currency, which are two different things, by the way, is created by people for the wealth that is produced by people to, make it transferable. That's the only reason why currency is created. And we're building value, and we were looking as a human species to store that value into something, so someone can produce something, create value, put the value into something, and then divide it. So it should be divisible, portable, transferable, and exchangeable. Mm-hmm. So that was why we needed currency in the first place as a species. And the amount of money doesn't matter so much, because if you increase the amount of currency or money, when the amount of wealth is, let's say, defined and limited, and only defined by how many people are being effective and how many people are producing, then this is just a system that will be in balance. So what is happening today is they're creating more money because people are actually producing a little less because of restrictions, because of situations that are difficult, but there's increasing money. So what will happen is that the value of this money, currency, let's just for a moment not make the distinction yet. We will over the next few weeks. The value will decrease by definition, because the amount of wealth is, let's say it remained the same, but the supply of money, there's more money chasing the same amount of goods and services and wealth. Mm-hmm. So when people get this idea, that's already interesting to understand. And when people get this, then they say, okay, but when I want to produce more, I will need to work harder. And the nugget for today is actually, it was something I was discussing with you just over the next past days. You don't always have to work so much harder to produce more. Both you and I are working less today than we did 10 years ago, and we're producing more. And that's because of a number of reasons, because of our personal network, because of the people we know, because of the skills we acquired, because of the technology we use, and so on, and so on, and so on. For example, we're streaming this video. We're now broadcasting onto 5, 6, 7 platforms at the same time, Alex. Why? Because there's technology an application we are using to stream it immediately. So we're producing more in the same 20 minutes than we did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Exact same thing. So producing more shouldn't be, you can, of course, if you don't know better, can, of course, be obtained, achieved by working harder. But the real goal is to get smarter, to get more skilled, to get more efficient. And that is why actually your potential is limitless. And that is also one of the reasons, but we can, we're not going to go too deep into this because I can talk for days on this. But that is also why people don't have to be afraid of a growing economy. We don't need to hurt the planet more. We can grow an economy even by decreasing our impact on the planet, on people's health, on people's work limit, and so on and so on. Yeah. Of course, there's always a trade-off. You always have to, maybe first put in the work just to get the skill, and then in order to, become more efficient. But I see it, for example, with people. Just to give you one last example, I see it with people in my organizations. For example, salespeople who were able to sell a year ago were able to sell 60K a month and are now selling 300K a month. The amount of days in a month has not changed over the last year, as far as I know and I'm aware of. So it is just a matter of being efficient and skilled in their specific case. And this can also be, if you're watching it, this can also be the case for you. So that is a nugget for today. Don't be afraid of wanting to produce more, because you will need to work harder. Try to focus on becoming smarter, becoming more efficient, becoming more skilled.
It's such a good point, such a valid and important point. I actually also see that we received some questions. So Ferdinand, thank you so much for your questions. I think it's actually going to take us a little bit of time to answer those questions really in specific detail. So we will address them today. We have a free coaching Friday at 2 o'clock. There you go, where my finger is 2 o'clock. It's every Friday at 2 o'clock, Central European time, so Brussels, Amsterdam, and Paris. We'll be there. We'll answer that question in particular, so we encourage you to come back. And for all of those who are out there, we'll be talking about investing in business, but we'll answer this question as well. It's a great question. How do you avoid the accumulation of just currency? How do you actually produce wealth also for yourself, but as well as the country? For yourself, how is that different from currency? We'll address all these topics. So we'll see you guys at 2 o'clock. Vít, thank you so much for sharing this today.
Well, Alex, it was my pleasure. I love to talk about it.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you at 2.
We'll see you at 2.
Sounds
Bye,
good.
guys.
Bye.